Ooh, today was a long day. Good night, everyone. Ooh, today was a long day. Good night, everyone. Ooh, today was a long day. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? We are 12 on the tiki-taki. Right, tonight we're doing question 10s. All right? We're doing some question 10s tonight, so make sure and lock in. Hey, good night. What's up? What's up, everyone? Let me share this here one time. So we're not sticking tonight, nah? Tonight is not no stick night. How are you doing? Oh, wait, here. Right. How are you guys doing? Much we have on the YouTube? We are 19 on the YouTube. Okay, let's make sure this expand right in and then we go and start, right? This expand even in. Even plugged in. Hey, my expand plugged in and I'm to them. Right, how are you feeling? I am tired. I had one of the longest days known to man today. All right, there you go. And make sure the expand walk in. Okay, so we're dealing with January 2024 question 10. We're doing some question 10s today, right? Earlier, me and fighting, no. We're taking this thing smooth. We're moving smooth, right? Okay? So, in the diagram below, O is the origin, right? So you'll see that O is the origin down here. It is this point or this vertex here, right? They said OE is equal to 2EF, right? So if OE is equal to 2EF, straight off the back, you know that here would be 2/3, and you know that up here will be 1/3, right? That's law. That's based on what they told us. Then they said, and M is the midpoint of EG. So if M is the midpoint of EG, you know straight off the back that here will be 1/2, and then down here will be 1/2, right? These are some things we can decipher from just reading the first line, right? Then they proceeded to say that OG, which is this vector down here, would be common C. And then OF would be, good night, everyone. Good night, Krishma. Good night, everybody on YouTube. I've seen 25 people on YouTube. Right. And on TikTok is 39. Let me go. So they said OF is actually common D. Right? Common D is the entire vector from O to F. So let's see what Mr. CXC is asking us down here, right? So they said find in terms of C and D in its simplest form, FG, EG, and OM. So let me deal with Mr. FG first. Okay? So we go in FG, right? So in order to move from F to G, we want an alternative route, right? We basically want to go move from F to G, but it basically have a roadblock here. Okay, police in this area. What do? We're looking for an alternative route. So we're going to move from F to O, and then we're going to move from O to G. So let's write that down here. This will be equal to F to O plus O to G. All right? This here will be the direction we are going to take to move from F to G. Okay? Y'all like up the video, share up the video, right? So we go in. FO, you're going against the traffic. They gave us OF as common D, so FO would be negative D, right? Plus OG is common C. Just to write this a little neater, Right? Hey, I like it, Isaiah boss. Police. Police was on this road. So that's right, a little neater. This will be C minus D. This is what FG is. Right? So we're moving down. Simple stuff, right? Now we want to find EG, right? Now EG, let's see the direction we're going to take here, right? Make some space. E to G. Where are we going? That's this line here. From E, from this point here, E, we want to move to G, right? I'm going to put a little arrow here. We want to move from E to G. So here what? It's our police here, right? Police pack up here. Vroom, 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 siren. So we need an alternative route. So where I'm going to go, I could go from E to F. I'll go from E to F, which is 1 to D, because D represents the entire vector. So here will be 1 to D. Down here will be 2 to D. So I'm going from E to F, then from F to G, because we just found FG. FG is actually C minus D, right? So we scroll it down. So EG is going to be EF plus FG, right? So this is going to be equal to E to F plus F to G, right? Just want to tell my TikTok people, if you get problems to see on TikTok, you could go on over to YouTube. It's much clearer on YouTube, right? So we go in. I said from E to F would be 1/3 of D plus F to G, which is actually, look, FG is right here. C minus D, right? C minus D. Okay, I don't know why this come out so, right? But it's C minus D. So 1/3 D minus 1D. This is actually 1D down here. That's why I'm going to write this a little better. I don't know why I'm writing part glitch here. Right, so watch it. This would be C minus D. Okay? Now, 1/3 D minus what is actually 1D. So if you have 1/3, you want to minus 1. Well, you want to minus 1/3 from 1. That would actually give us negative 2/3 D. Right? And then you still have the plus C. Okay, I should have written it the next way around. This would actually be C minus 2/3. 2, let me go up, right? 2/3 D, right? This is EG, right? Proper thing. How we looking there, Andrew? How we looking there? Proper thing, right? So we move in. So let's come here now. Boom. So you're making some space here. So you want OM. Let's go up and see. Yeah, easy, Andrew. Food. So we're scrolling up. So we want to go from O to M. Let me draw a fresh line from O to M. All right, let me move this here, move this. Okay, so I'm drawing a line. I'm going to draw a red line. So we want to move from O to M. Boom, O to M. Okay, this is what we need to find. So where we going by? And we can go from O to G. Actually, yeah, let me go from O to G, which is common C. Then we're going to go from G back to M. That's the route I going to take, right? I going from O to G, G to M. Okay, so let's work. So OM, I said we are going from O to G, and then we're going from G to M. All right? Scrolling up. O to G is actually common C. Okay? So this would be equal to, common C. Everybody good there? Let me know if you're good there. Common C, right? And then plus G, GM is actually going to be, where's GM? GM is going to be -1/2 because they're going against EG, yeah? Did we find EG? I think we find EG, yes. So it's going to be -1/2 of this, right? So watch it. -1/2 of EG, which is C minus 2/3 D. Right? Comment yes if you're with me. 33 people on YouTube, 90 people on TikTok. Why? Right? That's a little bit of people on tiki-taki. Where everybody sleeping on. So watch it there. First things first, a minus and a plus is a minus, so it's just minus is going to be here. I'm going to say a half multiplied by C, and I'm going to do a half multiplied by negative a half multiplied by negative 2/3 D. So watch it there. This will be C minus a half C plus, because a negative multiplied by a negative would give me a positive, right? So this will be plus. Now, 1/2 multiplied by 2/3 is actually going to give me positive 1/3, right? You all can check it. Positive 1/3 D, right? Positive 1/3 D. Okay? Now, what can work out here? We can actually work out the C's. This will be equal to, this is 1 C is understood here. So 1 C minus a half C would actually give you a half C plus 1/3 D. That's my final answer for OM. Message yes, if you have this. Yes, if you have this. I'm waiting for some yeses. Come on, TikTok, all in Norwich, all later. TikTok has seen 47 people in Norwich. It just had 19. Organize all the book and let me get serious for this life now. Not a soul on this earth coming to save us now. Have to get serious. Okay? There we go. Scrolling down. So we have our whole set of matrix bacchanal here now, right? Let's make some space. We're only doing 2 questions tonight, right? We're doing 2 number 10s. Basically, I was doing number 10s with my lesson students on the weekend. So I said, we'll just roll it at junior week, right? That's basically what's going on here. Because I know last week we were doing statistics. So we go in. The matrix P, Q, and R are given below. Everybody see that? Those matrices clear as day. They are saying that P is equal to 3, -9, A, and 7. Q is equal to -1, B, -4, and 1. And then R is equal to C, -3, -4, and 8. Now, they told us that P plus Q is equal to R. Okay, so I'm going to just write down P, which is 3, -9, A, and C, proper, plus Q, which would be -1, B, -4, and 1, is equal to R, which is going to be C, -3, -4, and 8. All are we looking there? We cooking with gas. Now, when you are adding matrices, we want to find the constant, the scalar constants here, right? Which are actually these variables up here. When you are adding positions, my children. So if I'm doing 3 plus -1, that will be equal to C. So watch it here. Let me run a highlight here. I don't like the highlights on this MacBook. But anyway, 3 plus -1 is going to give me C. So let's write that there. Okay? So scroll down. So we're going to have, first of all, 3 plus -1. So that'll be 3 minus 1 is equal to C. 2 is equal to C. Clock that. Clock that. Right? Let me know if I get that. We're moving, eh? TikTok. This is all the time to shine, you know. Tiki-taki. This is all the time to shine. Let me know if I get this tiki-taki. That's why. Let me just make sure I find like tiki-taki shift there, right? Right, let go. So that's one. The next thing we're going to do, we want to find, we found C. That's all right. This don't correct. That's this is 3, -9, A, and 7. Where I get C from? Hold on, eh? Hold on. This is 7. This is 7. Let me make sure this is correct. Boom, bang, boom, bang. C, 3, -3, -4. Right. So let me go next. 9, -9 plus B equals to -3. Let's do that next, right? So I'm going to have -9 plus B is equal to -3. What do? I carry the -9 here. I do the opposite of minus, which is to add. So B is going to be equal to -3 plus 9. B is going to be equal to +6. Clock that, clock that. There we go. So, what's the last thing we need to find? We need to find A. So, what's going on here, my children? A plus -4 is going to be equal to -4. That's what we write in there. You're going to write A plus, well, A plus -4 is going to actually just be A minus 4. Right, my children? A minus 4 is going to be equal to -4. What do? I carry -4 here. I do the opposite of minus, which is to add. A will be equal to 0. -4 plus 4 is 0. 0. Right? Are we looking there? This winning season? Clock it. There we go. I send this bad boy down. Hold on, Or we come here to win, We come here to lose. Right? I have my peeps on the inside, boy. I have my peeps on the inside. I'll pull in my class, Oh, the rider's coming down. Why are you coming down too? Well, we come here to win, We didn't come here to lose. Come here to win. So, solve the following pair of equations using a matrix method, right? So to my 40 people on YouTube and my 60 people, my class have 100 trend right now. That's a milestone. Big up the 100. They said to solve this matrix. Now, when you look at a pair of simultaneous equations, if you're in the matrix, you will see the matrix. You'll actually see it's going to be 5, -2, 2, and 3. So we're going to write the simultaneous equation in matrix form per se. So this is going to be 5, -2, 2, and 3. Right? See the matrix. Right? You're going to see the 5, the 2, the -2, the 2, and the 3. And then in the other bracket, we're going to put the unknowns, which will be x and y. And this will be equal to 44. And hey, look, I almost put over. That's one of the worst mistakes you can make when you're doing matrices, to put over. Right? This is Trinidad and Tobago, the greatest country on earth. Somebody asked it on TikTok which country this is. Right? Trinidad and Tobago, winning over here. So let's go. In order to find this, right, the rationale behind this bad boy is, if this matrix is A and this matrix is X here, it will be equal to B, right? And what you basically need to do here, you need to bring this A on this side, and X would actually be equal to the inverse of A multiplied by B. So we must find the inverse of A, which is that matrix up there. So let's make a little space. Proper thing, right? So for all those who never do the inverse of a matrix before, right? The inverse of a matrix is equal to 1 over the determinant of A multiplied by the adjoint of A. Okay? So when A is equal to A, B, C, D, right? The determinant of A is going to be A multiplied by D minus B multiplied by C, and the adjoint of A would be equal to, you're interchanging D with A, right? And you're multiplying B by -1, C by -1, right? This is the adjoint of A. So let's work. Or we come here to win, we ain't come here to lose, right? If you're on the losing team, do not come in my class. I'm joking earlier. I'm joking. Still come, right? Winning attitude. That's what I want here. Winning attitude always. But you ain't feeling maths again lazy. What your name is on TikTok? Your name is Lazy. What kind of name is that? So let me go. This will be 1 over the determinant of A, which would be A multiplied by D. Look, A is up here, right? So A multiplied by D would be 5, 3s are 15, minus -2 multiplied by 2 would be -4. So it will be 15 minus -4, right? Multiplied by the determinant of A. I'm interchanging 5 and 4. I'm sure about that, right? I'm interchanging 5 and 3, sorry. So interchange 5 and 3. So 3 come in here, 5 come in here. You multiply 2 by -1, you get +2. Multiply the 2 underneath here by -1, you get -2, right? Are we looking there, my children? How are we looking there? We're looking real good, okay? So let's go. This will actually just be the inverse of A would be 1 over 19 multiplied by 3, 2, negative 2, and 5. Now, the fact that we have to go and use this to solve a simultaneous equation above, it means that, let me leave it so for a while, right? And we go and plug it into the simultaneous equation and try to solve for x and y. So watch it there. This is the inverse of a. I'm going to put this into this position here, right? Now remember, x is actually xy, right? So let me go. So xy, right? So therefore, let me put therefore, xy would be equal to the inverse of a, which is 1 over 19 by 3, 5, 2, negative 2, multiplied by b, which was actually 44 and 10, right? We're cooking with gas right now. Let me go up. Let me just make sure, eh? Right, 44 and 10. We just checking back everything. Because remember, we're moving at pace here. When you're moving at pace, it has leave out stuff. So we go in. Watch your bad boy up on top there. We go in row by column. Row by column. So I'm going to do this row above here, which is 3, 2, right, multiplied by this column here, which is 4410. So this will be equal to, put back the people, 1 over 19, right? And then I'm going to have 3 multiplied by 44 will be 4 3s are 12, 4 3s are 12, and 1 is 132, plus 2 multiplied by 10 would be 20. And underneath, you're going to have this row now multiplied by the same column that is present there now. So negative 2 by 44 will give me negative 88 plus 5 by 10 is 50, right? So this will be equal to 1 over 19 by, remember this is xy we're trying to find here, right? So this will be what? 152. And what's this underneath here, boy? Hold on, Negative 88. Is this negative 38? Yes, it is, right? So in order to find my value of x and my value of y, this is what I'm going to do, right, my children? I can work it out here one time and then just put, all right, I want to show you all it here. So we have xy is basically going to be equal to, you see that number that is outside the matrix there? You must multiply 1 over 19 by every single element in that matrix, right? So it's going to be 1 over 19 by 152 and 1 over 19 multiplied by negative 38, right? Message winning team if you're winning right now. Winning team if you're winning. So hit me. What you getting here, boy? You're supposed to be belting out answers there. Now, thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew, because I know say I don't can work out this. Right? Thank you, Andrew. All the belt out answers now, man. We're winning by winning. We come here to win. So let go. 1 over 19. I see Andrew have 8 and underneath will be negative 2. So therefore, x is equal to 8 and y is equal to negative 2. Proper thing. So that is January 2024. We ain't sticking. We're not sticking. This is June 2024, number 10. We jump in one time. All share up this live, Share the live, like up the live. Let me get them lives pumping, right? We only have 41 people on YouTube and we only have 72 people on TikTok. There's supposed to be like 200 people on TikTok. Let me go. Wow, everybody's sleeping on. Right. Let me go here. You can come here to lose. So the determinant of the matrix 6 to V negative 5 and V negative V, is 24. Calculate the value of V. So let me work. They want V. So they say the determinant of the matrix, that means you're multiplying A by D. So it's going to be 6 multiplied by negative V. That will be negative 6V, right? Minus 2V multiplied by negative 5 will be negative 10V. And this will be equal to 24. So lock this in one time. A negative by negative would be a positive. Negative 6V plus 10V would actually be 4V. Positive 4V is equal to 24. Then I'm going to take this 4, carry it on this side and divide it. V will be equal to 24 divided by 4. V, my children, V will be equal to 6. Right? Clock it. Message winning. If we winning. What team are you on? We are on the winning team. The winning team is Trinidad in general. I just want to see Trinidad win, buddy. Trinidad losing for too long. Right? My dream is to see you all become leaders, quality leaders in this country, leaders that have country first. That's why I do these lives now. I always say it. I am doing these lives because I want pure leaders, and you all are the generation of pure leaders. Lead us to the promised land. Let's go. So the matrices L and M are defined as follows, right? We have L, we have M. Evaluate each of the following. They want the matrix product LM. So what we're going to do here, let me put them in, right? This will be 9, 5, 3, 2 multiplied by 2, negative 4, right? So we are going to do row by column, then row by column, right? So watch it there. This will be equal to row by column means you're multiplying 9. Let me circle them as I multiply, right? You're going to multiply 9 by 2 first, right? So 9 2s are 18 plus 5 by 4. Negative 4, sorry. That gives you negative 20. Then I am going to do 3, right? Watch it. 3 by 2. 3 2s are 6. And then I'm going to do 2 by 4. 2 by negative 4 would give me negative 8 plus negative 8. So I make a little space here, give me a little space here. Right. So this would be equal to a positive and a negative is a negative, and a positive and a negative is a negative here also. So 18 minus 20 would give me negative 2. Thank you, Andrew. 6 minus 8 will give me negative 2, right? This would be LM, right? The matrix product L multiplied by M, all right? Got a glitch there. How we looking there, guys? How are we looking there? Hey, all don't leave, you know. This is all a life for the play, not, you know. Let me finish people question. There we go. Stop playing games with all your education, all your future. So now no plaything. So you want to find the inverse of L now. Let me see how good my memory is, by. L was equal to what, by? Memory dead. Now when you're tired. 9, 5, 3, 2. 9. Hold on. What going on here? What going on here? I got a glitch here, guys. Hurry. Sorry. 9, 5, 3, 2. Okay, that is what L is. Let us make sure. 9, 5, 3, 2. Right, boom. So if I want the inverse of L, that is the beauty of doing like all the number 10s and then all the number 9s coming down the road, is more than likely you're going to see familiar ground. We now did our inverse question, right? So the inverse of L would be equal to 1 over the determinant of L multiplied by the adjoint, right? The adjoint of L, okay? So let's go. This will be equal to 1 over the determinant of L will be 9 multiplied by 2, which is 18, minus 5 by 3, which is 15. And the adjoint is you're interchanging 9 and 2, right? You interchange 9 and 2. And then you multiply 5 by negative 1, you multiply 3 by negative 1. Boom. So let's see what's going on here. Now, the fact that it has access to the inverse alone, let's calculate out the inverse when we get the number outside the matrix here, right? So this will be equal to 1 over 3, because 18 minus 15 is 3, right? And then we have 2, negative 5, negative 3, and 9, right? Now that 1/3 that is outside the matrix needs to be multiplied by every single number within that matrix, right? So this will be equal to 1/3 multiplied by 2, right? And then we're going to have 1/3 multiplied by -5. Then we are going to have 1/3 multiplied by -3. Then we're going to have 1/3 multiplied by 9. Okay, belt all them answers to me, guys. We're supposed to have that in our book already. Right, let me make some space here. Boom, bang. Nobody answer that answer. Not that answer coming here. 60 people by 50 people on YouTube, you know. 50 people on YouTube, and nobody give me answers here, boy. All right, let go. 1/3 by 2 would be 2/3. All right. What we have here, 1/3 by -5 will be -5 over 3. Remember, as that matrix, Andrew? 1/3 multiplied by -3 will give me -1. And then 1/3 multiplied by 9 would give me 3. This here would be the inverse of L, right? Message winning if you got this. Message winning if you got this, please. Winning if you got this. How we talk about? Hey, watch that. I don't know how much I be leaving all there, boy. I really believe in this generation at churn, boy. This, you all are the chosen ones. Save us. Save us from corruption. Save the country, right? You can see Andrew has a little prime minister there. There we go. Right? So we go in. They gave us PQ as winning. I love it. I love it. All the winnings coming in on YouTube. -4. Right? So what's something, right? All they gave us was if P is the point -2, 3, right? Now, P as a coordinate can be written as a position vector in vector form. So if they give me the coordinate P, that is actually OP, which would be -2 and 3. That is OP. So if I want the coordinates of Q, I can find the vector OQ, which is the position vector OQ, and then simply write it in coordinate form, right? So the magic that is going on here is actually that PQ, you can start at P, go to O, and then you're going to add O to Q. That is what PQ is, right? If you're using the origin and you're using position vectors, right? So let me make some space. So what should I go and plug in here, right? I'm going to plug in OP as 5, -4. And then I'm going to plug in PO as, now what's something? If I want PO, I'm going to write it here. PO is actually equal to -OP. Okay? So if I have OP, each one of these I need to apply negative to it so that PO will now become +2 and -3. Stay with me, eh? Plus Q. OQ. We don't know what OQ is. Right? So here what? You're working this just like if it's an equation. Like if I carry this whole vector here, right? This is like positive the vector. You know, I could just leave it like negative and bring it to the next side and just add it, you know. I think let me do that. That might be a more, a more understandable way. Right? Let me leave it as negative. What's something? This is negative of -2, 3. Why it is negative of -2, 3 is because it's PO, not OP. Now, when I bring negative of that vector to the left, it's actually going to become positive. So it'll be 5, -4, right? Plus -2, 3 is equal to OQ. Now, remember, I told you, my wonderful children, if I find OQ, it's like I'm finding the coordinates of Q, right? So this will be what, by? This will be 5 plus -2 would give me +3. And then I'm going to have -4 plus 3 would give me -1. Is equal to the vector OQ, the position vector OQ. So I can simply put now, therefore, Q would be 3, -1. 1. How proper is that? Clock it all here. Message winning if we winning. Message winning if we winning. All it's supposed to be liking up this live, you know, boy. Much likes I have here. I working for likes, you know. Hey, I ain't seen no likes on TikTok. I mean on YouTube. My likes. Like and share. Yeah, boy, I working for likes, boy. Or they taking advantage of me, boy. Right? TikTok, or they taking advantage of me, boy. Let me get some likes, boy. Right, let me go. Last question for the day. Right, when we come back here on Thursday, we're doing question 10s again. We're doing question 10s. And when I finish this class, I'm going to edit a video with January 2025. Yesterday, I posted June 2025, I believe it was, on my TikTok. You can check out my TikTok. You can check out YouTube. I have June 2025 or Jan, one of them, right? I'm doing the other exam tonight and post it. So you all will have 4 number 10s available to you all between yesterday and today. You have these 2 number 10s here, the number 10 that I posted yesterday, and I'm posting that number 10 later on tonight. Or I might probably get about 11, 12 o'clock tonight. So make sure that you are fluent with those 4 number 10s. I'm going to post that next one tomorrow, and we do about 3 more on Thursday. So let me win. This is number 10 week, right? Number 10, and we're moving back. We're moving back now to meet back the 9. Not 9. When we stopped last week, we stopped at 5. So we're moving back to meet 5. So let me go. In the Pentagon, OA, B, C, D, OA is parallel to DC. So you have OA is parallel to DC. Thank you. And AB is parallel to OD. Okay, thank you. OD is equal to 2AB, right? So OD is equal to 2AB. So straight off the back, you know what that tells us? That tells us that here would be 2B. Because AB is B and OD is going to be 2B, right? Let's work. OA is going to be 2DC. Now, OA is 2DC. That means DC, watch it. OA is equal to 2DC. So it's like half of OA is going to be equal to DC, right? So half of OA is going to actually be a half of A, right? Soak that in, make sure you understand that's what I just did there. OA is 2DC, which means DC is a half OA. So I could put a half OA there, like normal, right? Let me see what's going on next here. They said AB is common B, right? Well, we already know that. So this is everything we have here, my children. This is everything. Let's work. Find in terms of A and B in its simplest form, AD, right? So let me find the people AD here. We'll make some space here. Let's work the people AD. So where AD, boy, AD gonna be this line coming down here. Let me draw a line. Bang, 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 bang. Right, that's AD. That's too straight, but let's get the point, right? That is A to D. So here we're going on. That police here. Woo, woo, woo. Police. So we can't pass there. So what we're going to hit by, we're going from A to O and then from O to D. That's the route we're taking, right? We're going from A to O and then we're going from O to D. So pay close attention to where you're going against the traffic. You're going against the traffic from A to O. So this will be equal to negative A plus OD would be just 2B. Okay? Let me write it a little neater now. 2B minus A. I just flip it around, right? This is AD. All right? Let me go. BC. B to the C. Gosh, well, I need to drink some water. I am feeling extremely parched. All right? More water. Hold on. See if I can do BC there. Do BC. Right. We winning. There we go. We winning. Okay, BC. Where we going by? Where we going? What going on here? B to C. Oh, they want this bad boy up here. They want from B to C. So here what the police drive over here now. Right? The police here now. So we can't pass on this road, okay? Woo, 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 police. Right, so where we going by? The police move, so they're no longer here. They're no longer here. So watch it. Here I go and run. I running from B to A, and then I go from A to D, and I go from D to C, because I want to reach C. So what try I go now? I write it underneath here. I going from B to A. Watch it carefully up there. I go from B to A. Then I'm going to go from A to D, which I just found above there. Right? And then I'm going to go from D back to C. Proper. Right? So I made it to C. I took an alternative route. Let me go. So let me go. Be careful. Pay attention to where you're going against the traffic. Meaning that if the arrow pointed from A to B and you're going B to A, that means it will be negative B. Okay? Negative B. So this will be equal to negative B plus AD. A to D, we just found it here. So let's put in this whole thing. This will be 2B minus A. Right? That's right up here. 2B minus A. Then we still have to put plus DC. D to C is a half A. Look, I put it there. It's a half A. Going on with you, right? A half A. Right? Just so, right? Right. So let's simplify this, right? Because they did specify they want it in its simplest form. So let me go. Negative B plus 2B would actually give me positive B, or just B. And then negative A plus a half A. This is like negative 1A plus a half A. That is going to be negative a half A. Right? This is what B to the C is. Right? Message, we winning. Message, we winning if we winning. Right? You basically have 100 people on the live right now. Food, Andrew? Only because I'm me that's food, There we go. We winning. That's what we talk about. Is the winning team. Or they must go on TikTok. All the new people that probably passing through, you all must go on TikTok, go on YouTube, check out my content. Right? You know, I just try to make content on everyday stuff, right? So let me go. State this is the last question for the evening. State the conclusion about the magnitude of AD, meaning the length of AD, and the length of BC. So let me write down the vectors AD and the vectors BC side by side. Well, one on top of the next. AD was what? And let me see if we could see some similarities. It will be 2B minus A. This will be 2B minus A. And then BC would be B minus a half A. B minus a half A. So here what you're doing here, if you look at it, right, the B and the A are similar in both. But in one you're seeing 2, in one you're seeing a half. So what I want you all to do is to try to like factorize out something. Factorize out something. Okay? So let me look to I'm gonna look to AD. Right? So what's AD? This could actually be, if I factorize out the 2, okay? 2, open brackets, 2 into 2B would leave me with B, right? Minus 2 into negative A would give me, it's like a half A or A over 2. I'm going to write it as a half A, so it would look like the vector that is BC, right? So basically, the vector AD, right, the vector AD is equal to 2 of the vector BC, right? So the conclusion that we could form is that if the vectors are related in this way, that means that the magnitude of the vectors, therefore, gosh, boy, this class was real nice, boy. Therefore, AD, which is the vector AD, the magnitude of AD, magnitude meaning the length of AD, is equal to twice the length of BC. This is the conclusion that I drew. Right? So, guys, I'm not really advertising my lessons right now because I find my lessons a little ram out. right? But if you really need it, you can go to my TikTok page. You'll see the number there if you really need it, right? If not, we here every Tuesday and Thursdays, right? All my training my class know is proper thing, right? So guys, take care of yourself. Peace and love. I love you all. Take care, guys. Love in the house. We out, right? Just 2 questions we came here to do. We gone. We are gone. Let me end this live. Let me end this live. End the stream. Later, guys. Love in the house.